What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Caleb Plant defeats Jose Uzcategui to become the new IBF super middleweight champion. I've got to say, I'm quite surprised by this result. I was picking Uzcategui to win this fight. I felt the pressure he would bring would be a bit too much for Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant hasn't really fought anybody on the level of Uzcategui coming into this fight, and overall I felt it would be a bit too much for him too soon, but that wasn't the case whatsoever. In the first half of the fight, Caleb Plant completely outboxed Jose Uzcategui. Caleb Plant's jab was scoring at will. Plant did a good job of varying the jab from body to head, keeping Uzcategui guessing. Also, the feints of Caleb Plant gave Uzcategui something to think about. In the first 6 rounds, Uzcategui really looked unsure of himself, and he was being overwhelmed by the movement and the accurate boxing of Caleb Plant. In round 2, Caleb Plant actually drops Uzcategui with a counter left hook, like a short left hook. Uzcategui was off balance, but he went down. He wasn't hurt, but it was a good shot from Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant also dropped Uzcategui in the 4th. This knockdown was a bit harder. Again, he catches Uzcategui with his left hand, and it drops Uzcategui. But Uzcategui beats the count and gets up, and continues to get outboxed. In the second half of the fight, Plant slows down a little bit. He's still boxing well. His jab is still landing at will. He's still countering with the right hand, but Uzcategui is getting a bit closer. The odd shot is getting through here and there. So in round 10, for example, Uzcategui lands a huge right hand. And to be honest, Caleb Plant takes it very well. Uzcategui can punch, and Plant took his best shot in round 10, and he took it very well. So Caleb Plant's chin looks pretty legit, to be honest. So yeah, round 10 was a decent round for Uzcategui, but the decent rounds for Uzcategui were few and far between. Caleb Plant outboxed him for the vast majority of this fight. He dropped him twice. He was landing some lovely counter shots. He was in and out. The boxing at times from Plant, especially in that first half of the fight, was very good. He found that next level last night when he stepped up. And I mentioned that going into this fight. Sometimes when a fighter has a step up in class like this, you'll see elements to his game you've not seen before. And I think I saw that last night with Caleb Plant. I was really impressed with his concentration. Obviously his technical boxing was impressive, but it was more of a mental aspect I was impressed with. The concentration, the focus, how he took the opportunities that Uzcategui was presenting. He was really impressive last night, Caleb Plant, and you know, it was a pleasant surprise. And he was clearly the winner of this fight. So congratulations to Caleb Plant. He proved me wrong. I picked Uzcategui to win this fight, as did a lot of people actually. But Caleb Plant comes out on top and is the new IBF super middleweight champion. Where does he go from here? I mean, there's fights out there for Caleb Plant. I would like to see Caleb Plant fight the winner of James DeGale versus Chris Eubank Jr. I think that would be a good high-profile fight for Caleb Plant, and it's one I would be interested in watching. On the come-up, Caleb Plant said all of the right things. You know, he said he'd fight anybody, and I think we'll see that now he's champion. When he was a contender, he couldn't really get the fights, but now he has a title. He's going to be a lot more of an attractive proposition for one of these top super middleweights to fight. You know, another fight I'd like to see is Callum Smith, a unification. That would be a great fight. Callum Smith is viewed as the man in the division. Smith versus Plant, good fight. I think that would be a really good fight actually. You've got Caleb Plant's slick, quick boxing versus a bigger man in Callum Smith, a guy who can punch, a guy who can work the body. I think that would be a really good fight. But the world's his oyster. Caleb Plant went up to the next level last night, and he looked good doing it. Share your thoughts below. Were you surprised about the result in this fight? I was. I felt this came too soon for Uzcategui, but you know, Caleb Plant really proved me wrong. So credit to him. As for Uzcategui, he can come again. He's a fun fighter. He's an exciting fighter. I'm sure there's more fights out there for Uzcategui. Still young, he's still 28. So he's not done yet either. But last night was Caleb Plant's night, and he is now the new IBF Super Middleweight Champion. Share your thoughts below. Tell me what you thought of the fight, and peace.